Hi everyone, it's Natalie here. Before I start, I'm just gonna call this out. Like, my hands look like sausages and I have a rash. So I don't know what it was for sure, but I got into something. I have a lot of sensitivities and food allergies. And I got into something the other night, I think. And so, yeah. So sorry about that. Yay, fun times. So that's why my hands look so weird. The knuckles aren't swollen. I can at least bend them and stuff, so it's not as bad as it sometimes has been in past, but yeah, this is like day 2 of it. Yesterday it was really bad. Anyway, I'm here today not to talk about food allergies, but instead to talk about my unicorn deck. So I am going to preface this. Should I preface this? Should I even preface this? I should. Okay. This is a deck that I have been wanting for years and years and years, since I became a fiber artist, honestly. And I saw Honey Lou's tag. I love Honey Lou. Hi, Honey Lou. And I just thought, you know, I really want to talk about this one. It's a deck she has as well. This one I came about for $18, unbelievably. I thought it was completely out of print and unavailable. And then Candy, from Candy Soul and Soil, just messaged me one day on Instagram and was like, hey, guess what I found? Because it was one of her unicorn decks as well. So I went ahead and ordered it. And I have to be honest, I made loads of videos about it, which were corrupted and I could not upload, bizarrely. So I got it last year, probably in June. It was 18 bucks, but they're selling them without, I think you can still get it on the US Games website. They're selling it without a box. It comes in a bag like this, cellophane wrapped. Because I did not want to pay, and with this on the back. So it is the Tapestry Tarot deck. And I just never took that off because that's how it arrived. I don't know, there's something about that for me. It's not the best fit, as you can see, for this bag, because it's kind of an unusual deck, and it has pointed corners. So I'm just giving you the full effect here of like what this is like. Yeah, it was published in the 90s, I think, and I remember at the time being like, ooh, that's neat, but not really feeling all together called to it at that point. So as you can see, like, yeah, we've got like really sharp corners and so on. It's got a nice little book, little white book. It's actually pretty comprehensive. You know, it gives her whole philosophy. It is not entirely, it's really not Rider Waite based. It's kind of her own system. You know, she's into Greek things and all sorts. I think she is a fiber artist. But yeah, this is one of those decks. It is out of order because I have used it and worked with it. I think we will try and zoom in a little bit here just because I have the ability to do that with this phone cam here. Not on the potato cam today. But yeah, it's a weird little deck. These are the backs. And I will say this, given that it was such a unicorn, I have to be honest in saying I was a little disappointed. Not so much in the concepts of the deck. I like the deck. The deck is nice. I think I'm more kind of, it comes across really better on camera, as I'm seeing here, looking through the, I can see it a little better here because there's no, nothing in the way. That's actually a really good card. That 8 of Cups, that's a really good one. Some of them look a little bit like this is so awful. I feel so bad saying it like this, but some of the cards to me as an artist, like this one kind of, they kind of look like a church group from my youth got together to make some special quilts for a particular thing, and this is how they came out. So for me, they, as an artist, like they feel kind of rushed and thrown together in a very sloppy kind of way, which honestly is not the worst. It's in its own way, it's kind of inspiring, because it's like, oh, I shouldn't feel intimidated about using fibers to create a tarot deck because this is really, I don't know, it's not bad. It's just, it's what's the word I want? It's, well, it's not well photographed. A lot of it is really dark. So the photographs are not helping. The way it was photographed is not helpful. There's the Fool. But it's also, naive is not the word I want. It's just, it's kind of crude on some level. It feels kind of crude. Now this one is actually one of the ones, the Justice card has more detail and more care given to it than some of them do. She is a little bit more, you know, you can see that it's a little bit more thoughtfully composed. There's a little more detail, you know. I think the principle was, if I recall correctly, it's been a while since I've really worked with it, but I've got all the decks that I got last year out because I'm, you know, doing all those kinds of things, all those videos. I don't know. It's just one of those decks that's like, oh, this is not what I expected it to be. You know, it's, I guess it is somewhat Rider-Waite-Smith inspired. She definitely goes her own direction with it. Like, let's just put it that way. I don't know where I put all those videos. I hope I don't know if they just got completely corrupted, or I couldn't access them, or I had to delete them. I don't even remember. I'll have to go back and look. I did film them on the phone instead of the laptop, and that may have been part of why I had an issue, because I was also in the middle of redoing some things. Now, so this is a major. Some of the majors, again, like we often see, right, with creators, they really put the effort and time into making the majors, and then they do the minors and they feel kind of rushed, right? So I feel like that's kind of what we have in this deck to a certain degree. It definitely feels dated and very, very 90s. I started to say this earlier. It's kind of early in the morning on a Sunday. It feels like she got inherited a bunch of used fibers and things and had to just use only what was there to create a tarot deck. And I feel like maybe that might have been what happened. I don't know, we can look that up. But yeah, it's just kind of odd. Like, the face on that one is really interesting. Social-minded. Weird. Yeah, some of the astrological influences and stuff are ones that I don't quite get. This one, the detail shows up better again on camera. I feel like I can see the detail better here than I can in person. Am I seeing what I think I'm seeing? Yeah. In person, this looks like a white mass, and it's hard to make out any detail, but now I'm seeing that there is a person here and maybe a figure here. Again, not something that I easily could see in person, partly because you can see, like, this is really dark, right? It's really dark in here. It's, again, I feel like they were hanging on the wall and maybe they were lit from below or something. They're just not well lit. Now, I do like this, but again, like, light it properly so we can actually see the detail. I guess photography, again, has changed so drastically, right? Like, there are whole years of my life, in my, like, better years even, where I don't even have the photographs anymore because digital photography and film and so on were, like, overlapping. And it was really that, like, intermediate period of time. And it's really unfortunate. Like, I'm missing a large chunk of stuff, from like the early 2000s that's just gone. But anyway, Yeah. Even in the last 5 years, you know, like the difference in cameras is huge. So like, I get that. I really get that. But like, again, here we go, the Emperor, right? So looking at it compared with just the Four of Pentacles, you can see the detail is just so different. That Emperor had some time and effort and energy put into him. Yeah. It's just very different. But then we get this Five of Swords. It just kind of feels like it's been dumped there. Oh, there's some colors that we'll use this. But I mean, I know she put thought into it because I did at one time, like, separate out all of the cards in the deck to look at, you know, like, this is a good High Priestess. It's really good. Again, I rue. Woe is me. Woe is the factor. I rue the day they did not use good lighting for this and relied on a flash. It's just, that's probably what it is. They relied on the flash, over-relied on the flash. The sun is beautiful. Again, it's not technically a tapestry. A tapestry is technically made by weaving, right? Tapestries are woven with thread, and this is not that. This is a quilt collage. These are collage pieces, or fiber collage. But yeah, I mean, like, I know she used, like, oh, I even just now saw the hands. I didn't even see the hands initially the first few times I looked. Like, that's her hand, and that's a hand handing her the cup, and then those are the cups that are already there. Okay. Because I was seeing those leaves on the cups as hands. So again, it's just not an art, like, artistically, it's not the best choice, right? This I can't even see. Maybe I can see it in the camera. I'm not even seeing, like, what is that? I know it's the Hanged Man, but I'm struggling to see it. And I hate that I'm turning, oh, there's hair. Oh, I see him now. Okay, there's his foot. There we go. And then there's his other foot. That's what he's being hanged from. And then those are like pillars holding it up. But see, like, it's just a poor choice of fabrics. Like, why would you choose something that busy and not offer some more negative space where you can actually see what's there? That's what I find so confusing in looking at this. And I don't think I've seen Candy talk about this deck, because Candy's a fiber artist. Candy's an everything artist, and a freaking good one. Like, I really deeply admire Candy's skill with all of the different arts that she practices. But yeah, I've always wondered, Candy, what do you really think of this one? Because I mean, what I'm seeing, that's actually a pretty good Two of Swords. I get it. But again, I think that's supposed to be a face, because that's hair, right? So then what's this thing? And, you know, the descriptions don't always tell you, right? So you can't always tell just based on what's in the deck. I don't know. Oh, I just now saw this. Those are hands. Inside of sleeves. I do like where it just overlaps the borders like this. I do like that. I think that's a really nice touch. I love it when people do that. I love that it was done with something that's so square and precise. You know, everything I understand from this deck is about how striking it was in person when people saw it hanging on the walls as an exposition. You know, or not exposition, as a, I don't know, as a gallery, like art opening kind of, I can't think. It's morning, it's early. I'm still sitting here drinking coffee, y'all. So I'm still kind of like pulling it together. Yeah, anyway, it's just, it is what it is. And it's an unusual piece. That is a kind of a cool tower, though, I will admit. I mean, some of these I really like. Some I hate, and some I just kind of scratch my head at. I do love the Death card. I am baffled by her astrological associations. I think at one point I had researched that and was looking into it, and then kind of just gave up. Yeah. Like this, I think, is supposed to be a face. Like there's an eye, there's a mouth. I don't know. But yeah, I have really mixed feelings about this deck. On the one hand, again, it sort of gives me the, hey, if she could do it, so could you kind of vibe to it, which sounds so awful, but I'm just being honest, right? As an artist, like if I were giving feedback to, that's actually a really nice one. And I like what she did with the lovers. Like that feels right somehow. I like they're ambiguous. I mean, there's some good things to be found here. The Wheel of Life is gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Again, though, we've got negative space, so I can actually really see the detail and the beauty of what she did there. And that's actually really well composed. I really love that one. And it's well, it turned out well in the photo, you know. But like some of them didn't. And again, the camera is doing it justice that it doesn't have in person, okay? I can tell you, looking through the lens right now, it looks way better through the viewfinder than it does, you know, on the screen of my phone, than it does, you know, on like in here. It just is not, it's not that pretty. It's not that bright. It's not that detailed. It's very, very much the sense of looking at a two-dimensional piece, or yeah, two-dimensional piece that had some three-dimensionality to it, that was flattened and photographed with a flash camera, poorly with a flash camera, and without like, you know, basic photographic skill. Oh my gosh, like just choose good lighting, you know, take them outdoors where you can really see. You know, choose your timing well, all of those things. The card stock, I don't know, I'm just mumbling about and grumping about this deck. I think I'm grumping about it because, you know, it's a unicorn deck, right? So it's a deck that in some way I built up in my mind to be this really incredible deck that once in my hands, I kind of went, that's it? Really? That's it? That's all? Okay. Not what I was expecting. Oh, somehow I ended up shuffling in this card. Okay, but this is good. It gives us the information. So the Wisdom of Egyptian Goddess Hathor, that's right, presented by Yvonne G. Jensen in a stunning series of 80 hand-woven tapestries. But they're not hand-woven. These are not woven pieces. They are quilted and stitched. Okay. Hathor is not, whoever wrote this is not conversant in fiber arts at all. Hathor is the patron of women, love, and pleasure. She personifies the power of nature, bringing forth, rearing, and destroying all things. She's also a great nourisher and the foreteller of the future. The center of the cult of Hathor in ancient times was Dendera, a town about 40 miles north of Thebes, and that's in Greece. The Hathor temple contained many secrets rediscovered and interpreted by Jensen in the Tapestry Tarot. Sure, I don't quite understand what those are. And there was a longer book. I've tried to locate it. It is out of print. It is hundreds of dollars on, if you can even find it. Because I was just curious, like I really want to know. So yeah, so Yvonne G. Jensen is an artist, teacher, poet, and philosopher born in 1943 of Dutch parents. She studied at the Academies of Design and Social Sciences in Rotterdam and took courses in dialectics. Her holistic approach to art is reflected in 80 beautiful tarot cards that magically combine all types of materials, including oil paint, textile fragments, metal objects, ribbons, ropes, and everyday objects. The publishers are pleased to make available Tapestry Tarot in cooperation with Yvonne G. Jensen. So, yeah, I mean, sure. I mean, the funny thing is, the Dutch have this incredible rich history. You know, the Flemish weavers and Dutch weavers and Dutch, you know, the Dutch and Flemish people going back historically were the innovators, have always been the innovators of fiber work, right, in the Western world. Always. I mean, they were always like the foremost people coming up with stuff. So, I mean, it's just interesting. I think it's just very interesting. But she, you know, I mean, some of my favorite fiber artists are Dutch. Like, no joke, they really are. Some of the people who've inspired me the most, usually they're Dutch or they're Japanese, because the Japanese have this incredible history with working with fibers that you know, in pragmatic ways. Sorry, I'm holding my coffee instead of just flipping cards. That are, you know, remarkable and groundbreaking, because they shifted from things where, you know, they started to see the beauty of like, wow, this is actually really stunning. Not this, and beautiful, and maybe instead of like leaving it just with, you know, the history of poverty, we could, you know, like borrow textiles, etc. I mean, there's sashiko, there's beautiful stuff. Again, strength, so busy. I just almost, it's too much. It's too much when you're trying to central, you know, like, what is that background? What is that supposed to be? And again, I'm sure these were striking in person. You know, if I look closely, I can see like there's a lot of really beautiful textured velvet. I don't know if that background was patched and then this was like appliqued on top, you know, and quilted. I don't know. I mean, I can't tell. But I can see there's detail and specificity in there that's just not showing up on the photograph at all. That magician is fabulous. Again, though, there's, you know, the background is beautifully done because there's a lot of different textures, but they're all the same color family. So I can actually, you know, you can actually see that it's a magician. You can get more of a sense of detail of what's happening in there. Yeah, I mean, I think, again, that these probably were pretty striking or are pretty striking in person. I wonder if they're still existing someplace. That's awful. I'm sorry. That is just awful. And I don't know if it's awful. I think it's mainly awful because of the photography. I don't think it's probably not an awful composition. It's not a terrible composition, actually, the way that it's been done with the gold. But again, it's photographed so badly. It's like, oh, well, this'll do, you know, like, oh, we got these and they're okay, they'll work. And the publisher like didn't even stop them and say like, no, this won't do. Look at that, I shuffled these all in there. How bizarre. That's terrible. That was even taken at an angle. Are you kidding me? That is a terrible 7 of Cups. You can't even see all the cups. I can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is over here. Where's 7? Ugh. Yeah. So you see my frustration with this. Like, what are you doing? It is a really interesting card stock. I do love the sun. I mean, there are aspects of it, as I said, I really love. It is kind of like almost laminated. It's a really thin cardstock, but it feels like it should be flimsy, but it's not. And it does shuffle really, really well. It's a big deck, but it shuffles really nicely. See? It's not bad at all. Not bad. But it's not easy to read, and it's not easy to see all the symbols, and it's not easy to appreciate, you know, all of the depth that in theory she must have put into this, because you can't always see, like, why is this cut off? I know, I mean, I do get it. I do get that, like, that this was done before the digital, you know, era and everything, but even still, come on. I don't know. There's little things like that. So that's my unicorn deck. Another unicorn deck that I have that I have been very good about holding off on is, I would really like to get a copy of the Romeo and Juliet Tarot by I want to say Scaravelli. That's a yoga practitioner. Geez, why can't I think of the name? Scapini, that's what I was trying to say. The medieval Scapini tarot, Luigi Scapini, that's what I'm trying to say, who did that Shakespeare Romeo and Juliet tarot. That one is on my list, has been for a while. I just have not been able to part with the cash. And I know there's 2 copies or 2 versions of it, and I'm kind of reluctant to, I'm just reluctant to put the money in, so I haven't. How about that? Anyway, we'll talk. We'll think about it. I'm a lot more like, about, you know, like, is a unicorn deck really a unicorn deck? Because once you get them in hand, sometimes they just don't live up to your expectations or your hopes or your, you know, whatever. So yeah, it's also why it's good not to have expectations and hopes, and maybe not like crave so much after something. Yeah, but this was only $18, so it did make it worth it. And I am still in some ways excited about it, even though I'm heavily critical and irritated about certain aspects of it. So there we go. All right, friends, I will talk to you again soon in another one. And until then, bye.